Today in SolidWorks, I'm going to be creating an offset plane at an angle to a surface in order for me to make some cuts that will go into my surface at an angle, like for slots to step into something that's going to set back a little bit or lean back as some type of holder. So I've already created a shape here. I've created a 5x3x3 box. It doesn't matter what size my box is here. What matters is the surface that you're going to be working with, but the procedure will be the same. So as long as I'm in features, I can come across here to reference geometry. I'll click the drop down menu and I will choose plane. So that's what's going to create an offset plane for me. And I'm going to have this plane come off of my top plane here in my surface and come off of an edge. Right now, if I just pick my top plane, you can see it's automatically picking a parallel plane to my top surface at about 4 inches above. Not quite what I want. That's okay. I can pick a second reference though, and that second reference is where that plane is going to go through. And that's generally going to be an edge that we're going to pick. So I'm going to pick the edge of my box here. Now that changes my plane to be perpendicular to my surface at that line. We want an angle. Well, luckily we have this little angle button here. So we can set that plane into angle, and 15 degrees is the angle I want. So if I rotate a little bit, you can see how we have a plane that's offset 15 degrees from our top surface, but it goes through that edge of our fillet over there. Okay, that's what I want to have. That's how we create that offset plane. So I can go ahead and click my OK or hit Enter button, and I'm just going to scroll a little bit, and I'm going to go normal to that plane. Now in this particular plane, what I'm going to do, a couple things in order to get my slots that I can cut in, is I'm going to go in ahead and I'm going to sketch in this plane. And the first thing I'm going to do for a very particular reason, I'm going to sketch a center line. And I'm going to sketch that center line because I'm going to draw one slot and I'm going to mirror that slot so I don't have to try and draw it again. So I've got my center line drawn. It doesn't matter how long it is. I have a vertical relationship. That's that yellow box in the bottom. And I just click it, and that line is completed. Click off my line. Then I'm going to go to a center rectangle is fine for now. And I'm just going to sketch a little rectangle here, and I'm going to do my dimensions. So I'm going to dimension this first of all as, let's turn that off. So I want dimensions. I click my top line of my slot, and I'm going to want that to be, let's say, 1/2 inch, 0.5. I want to do the side as 1/4 inch, because that's the size of the slot I want. And now I just have to tell it where it is. So I'll start with my side piece to my side, and let's put that at 1 inch in. I don't have any set values where I'm putting these. For my drawing, it's just if you have your drawings, you'll set your scales up the same. And then from the front edge of my fillet, I'm going to go 1/2 inch in. So I want that to be fairly close to the top. Okay, that puts us at 1/2 inch. That takes care of my dimensions in this case. Now before I go ahead and do anything else, since I want to have this exact slot on this side at the same dimensions, I could go through and draw all that, or I can just go ahead and mirror it. So I'm going to, what do I want to mirror here is my entities. That's the things I'm mirroring, which in this case will just be these 4 lines. And I want to mirror that about, if I select that box, or center line. When I click that, it'll draw the exact same dimensions, exact same location for my next slot. Boom. Okay, now we have the 2 slots that we're able to cut down in. So now I can exit my sketch. I'm going to go back to features, and I'm going to extruded cut. Now nothing's highlighted, so it's to select something. So I'm going to click my feature tree and sketch and select that last sketch. Now it's going to show me that I'm going to be cutting something in this case. Now right now what setting is going to be cutting blind 3 inches. Well, I don't want to go blind 3 inches because I'm offset and I don't want to have to calculate how far we're going to this distance between our plane and our feature. I just want to go from this surface in. So instead I'm going to come up to my selections here, and I'm going to go offset from surface, and I'm going to pick, okay, my top surface again is the surface I want. That's what this blue box is, the face or plane that we're doing. So I'm going to select that plane. And the distance I put in here now, let's say I want to go in 1/2 inch. and I'm going to reverse my offset. So now it's going to cut in, because it was going up from that distance, offset a 1/2 inch in cutting, but now it's going to actually offset from my top surface in here and cut in 1/2 inch here. So the distance from my pink plane in is 1/2 inch. It's definitely obviously further because it's actually cutting from our plane up here. When I click OK, now I have 2 slots that go in a 1/2 inch at an angle to my face. So I can fit my objects in here and it will tip back at a little angle. Okay, that's one way that we can approach putting in a slot, an angled slot, into a surface.